Hey everyone, my name is Augie. I am CEO of Chromatic Games. We make a game called Dungeon Defenders Awaken, and it's out right now on Steam.
So Augie, can you talk a little about the transition? I mean, I know it's a really deep subject. It's kind of glance over it of your transition from trendy games to chromatic games.
That's right. That's right. So let me backtrack 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I founded a company called Trendy Entertainment with another gentleman named Jeremy Stylus. We made a game called Dungeon Defenders, and it did very well. Then in 2012, we sold the company to a group of venture capitalists, and they took the company over in 2012. I left the company in 2013. And what happened in December 2018 is I had the opportunity of buying the company back. So yeah, there was this huge transition from a venture-backed, corporation, basically, governed by a venture capital firm that had a portfolio of dozens and dozens of companies. And, my goal was to change that company back into an indie company, back into a small group of highly motivated, dedicated game developers who want to be in control of their own destiny. In December 2018, I was able to reacquire the company and immediately create this transition back to indie. And here we are today, about 18 months later. So
I think it's great that you got to keep your games licensed. A lot of developers sometimes lose that IP in the transition of getting sold.
That's absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. We're crazy fortunate to be able to keep the IP within the company.
So then you come back, you're now Chromatic Games, then you do a very successful Kickstarter. Was that the first Kickstarter you've ever done from a game development side?
From a game development side, that is the first Kickstarter. I've been part of 3 other successful Kickstarters. So I had some experience in Kickstarter, but the first thing we ask ourselves is basically, do people still love us? Do people still love us? And I had a gut feeling that I think people still love Dungeon Defenders and are willing to give us another shot. We launched our Kickstarter in March 2019, and within a month we raised $500,000, which is we're crazy fortunate. The outpouring of love and support has been tremendous, and we're going to try everything not to let you down. We've made mistakes. We're going to fix them. So hang on, guys. We're going to fix things.
Can you talk about some of the pros and cons when you develop a game through crowdfunding as opposed to have the traditional way of creating a game and releasing it?
Yeah. So the most traditional way of creating a game is to reach out to publishers, and a publisher will give you funding to make your game that you push. But oftentimes, in the end of that process, the publisher owns the IP, they own the franchise, and the developers are just there to make more games with that franchise. And what happens at that moment is you lose control. You sort of become dependent on the publisher for your survival. And when you have a relationship such as that, things can go awry very fast. So I don't want this relationship with publishers where we are basically at their whim. And being indie first starts with being in control of your destiny, and being in control of your destiny starts with controlling and owning your own IP.
And so Dungeon Defenders just released on Steam, and it's quite ambitious because you're releasing across almost all platforms, with Nintendo Switch coming up next.
Yes, we will. I mean, so initial launch is PC, Steam, and then we'll be followed up with consoles in the near future.
Are you guys doing those port yourselves, or you're outsourcing that to studios?
We're doing that ourselves. We really believe in doing the vast majority of things in-house, and that way we can keep control of the quality and everything.
That's very ambitious because your team is you're not like a 1,000-man team. You're a relatively small studio.
No, we're 30 small guys and gals in a small office now, working from home in our programming closets. So it is quite a feat for a small team, and we make mistakes, and we learn from them. But we're in this for the long haul. We're not going to give up. We're going to chug through this.
So game development's already like a finicky mistress when it comes to like meaty milestones and deadlines. How did the work at home orders affect your studio when that first hit Florida?
Oh man, you're talking about COVID, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, yes. So rewind my brain to February. Yeah, we just launched our EA end of February, as I believe, and I immediately jumped on a plane for PAX East. And then, literally, when we came back from PAX East, the whole COVID thing just blew up, and it was something we will only experience hopefully once in our lifetime, and that no one saw coming. So it was a lot of ad hoc things. It was all right, guys, we need to work from home. We'll probably be working home for the next few months. How can we reorganize everything that we can push out this game? And the first 2 weeks were the hardest, because I would definitely say our style in the office is very open. In fact, I would say the best way to communicate with someone is over a cup of coffee, as opposed to a phone call or a Zoom meeting. And I'll give you a classic example. Is like my desk when I enter the office is in the middle of the open office. So immediately you come through the front door, the first thing you see is my desk. Then this enables people to, if they have a question or problem, to go directly to me. Just passing by, if you even have like some random question about, let's say, the coffee today or something, I'm right there, and I want people to feel that way and function that way. But that's impossible now with work from home. So you have to organize things more structurally, and in the process, things get lost in communication. Things get lost in Zoom meetings, lost in translation. And the first 2 weeks were definitely difficult, and it's definitely taken a hit on production capacity. And it's something we have to deal with and schedule with, and I think most importantly, communicate that with our community, which is difficult and something we're working on.
Yes, it's funny you mentioned that, because I've actually interviewed a lot of ex-Blizzard developers, and they say that they left the company because it used to be something we could just kind of lean back or take a walk around the corner and talk to the art department or talk to the coding department or the UI department. Now you got to put in a request and wait 2 to 4 weeks. And then sometimes it just gets denied.
Those things compound and propagate. So capacity is definitely taking a hit. I can't wait for a vaccine to be invented so we can all feel safe coming back to our office. And I just miss my fellow devs. They've become like my friends and family to me. I miss them. I'm lonely. I'm human.
So Dungeon Defenders 2 was eventually became a free-to-play game on PS4 and Xbox. Dungeon Defenders Awakened is not free-to-play. What did you learn from the past game to make it a premium service, a premium retail experience? Did you discuss maybe it should be free-to-play? Like, how did that conversation go when you guys were in pre-production?
Yeah, the first question we asked was, who is our fan base? Who loves our game? Who's willing to love our game or our next game? And the biggest answer to that was much of our DD1 fans. We still have a huge following with Dungeon Defenders 1. So we asked ourselves after that, okay, so how can we cater more towards Dungeon Defenders 1? And the first thing was how you monetize the game. One of the things that Dungeon Defenders 1 fans really hated about DD2 was the free-to-play aspects, free-to-play mechanics. So we immediately all right, well, let's not do that. Our community doesn't want that, so let's not go down that path. And then on top of that, creating a free-to-play game is a monumental task. it's more than just a live product. It's a live product slash economy slash all the above. And the complexities making a successful free-to-play game are exponentially more difficult than a typical retail game. So.
Yeah, that's what we actually, when I was reviewing this, my wife and I started to play Dungeon Defenders 2, and we really enjoyed it, but it can get very intimidating with the amount of currencies and premium items and how you unlock those items and the crafting.
Grind. It added like 4 or 5 more layers on top of a game that should just simply be fun. Let's make a fun game, easily understood, but because of free to play and the systems you have to build into a game from the ground up so people actually pay for it, it took away from the fun. And that's one of my mottos throughout the company. Like whenever a designer or anyone builds something in the game, well, marketing wise or design wise, the first question they need to ask is this fun? Will this game make the game more fun or less fun? Will this mechanic make the game more fun or less fun? So fun is the big word with our culture and what we're trying to pour into this game.
Well, I thought it was really fun, but there's a plus to having free-to-play. You don't have that barrier of entry that everyone seems to get.
You're absolutely correct.
But it's a balance. It's a balancing act, right? The whole thing is it's really difficult. So in Dungeon Defenders Awaken, you released with your 4 core heroes that were the original Dungeons Defenders, excuse me. And you also switched to Unreal Engine. What was that like for your dev team?
Yeah, so one of the core things moving forward with the company and the franchise was our switch to Unreal 4. The last 2 games were built on Unreal 3, which was an old antiquated game that Epic no longer supported. So it's basically a dead engine, and you could not build any games on future platforms with it. You can't build games with the newest tech, ray tracing, all the amazing technologies out there right now that you couldn't use them because Unreal 3 was dead. So early on we made a huge decision to switch over to Unreal 4, which I think is one of the greatest decisions we ever made. That engine is absolutely amazing, and support that Epic gives you is no one can rival it. So thank you, Epic Games, for making such great tech for us indies to use.
I've played a lot of tower defense games in my life, most notably from like the Warcraft and Starcraft eras, but also a lot on mobile. The only one I can think, I know there've been a few on consoles, was Iron Brigade was one I played a lot on consoles. But you have so many on your PC version, you have so many models and particle effects on the screen at once. What are some of the challenges when implementing that into current gen console hardware? Because it's got to be difficult.
Oh yeah, that's one of the biggest. It takes a lot of people to make a game, and then it takes a lot of smart, good people to make Dungeon Defenders, because the number of draw calls and the amount of CPU time it takes to do some of these things is unbelievable, and performance is always something we're improving. Even within this launch, we found some performance issues we didn't catch in QA. We're working on them. And then we're trying to support 4-player split screen. And one thing,
that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, we got it working in Unreal 3 for Dungeon Defenders 1, but Unreal 4 is a completely different beast than Unreal 3. And to get that working, we're going to try our best. And I've seen some initial demos that we've created in-house that are very encouraging, but it's a balancing act. I'm trying to imagine in survival, wave 25, there are literally 500 enemies on the screen and explosions everywhere. We might have to make some balancing calls with that for 4-player split screen to work, but we're going to give it our best effort. We'll try our best. We will try our best.
What's it like working with the Nintendo Switch architecture in a game like this? Are you enjoying it? Is it a pain or?
I mean, every platform has its difficulties. With Nintendo, you're basically playing with a mobile device. It is a mobile device. There's a Tegra chip in there. You know, a Tegra chip you'll see in some mobile device, in some phones, and it's basically a souped up cell phone. So yeah, it's like we're making a mobile game. In essence, that's what Nintendo is. We love the platform. We love the fans. It was a huge honor to get on Nintendo. I'm gonna be honest, we were trying for 9 years to get on Nintendo. 9 years. Every time we're at GDC, well, we might be able to have a meeting with some rep at Nintendo, and you know that goes nowhere. So one of the things I did early 2019 was I submitted to Nintendo. They have a little portal where indies can submit to Nintendo for, you know, you pitch your game, pitch your review. I submitted every 2 weeks. You know, I like for a second, I'm like, maybe their system is down and not working right, and no one's seeing it. So like literally every 2 weeks, I'll just resubmit. And then 3 months later, we get an email from a rep, from an account manager, and she was literally like, I love your game. I played it on stream for hundreds of hours. I want you on Nintendo. So I guess possibly it just, you know, whenever you submit, it falls on an account manager's lap. And we were lucky enough that last time to fall on our current account manager's lap. And that was awesome. We made our week that week. So just keep on trying. Don't ever quit. That's the moral of the story there.
I heard their like requirements for handheld mode are a little like less extreme than like Xbox and PS4. I believe they have a JRPG running on the Switch at like 480p at like 24 frames per second or something like that.
Yeah, some things with them are less stringent, and some things, you know, are more stringent. You know, it's always a mixed bag with every platform. But I can tell you, definitely working with our account manager at Nintendo, she's been awesome, just super accommodating, super nice, very encouraging, very, very friendly. It's been a great experience so far. We just need to get 4 screens plus player working on it. We'll try.
Maybe you could say 4-player split screen, just not on handheld mode. Because you're not going to have a good time with that anyway.
No, we want to so badly, but like, we'll see. It's,
have you played Mario Kart in handheld mode with 2 people? It's awful.
Yeah,
it's awful with 2 people.
Drop to like 7 frames a second. I'm like, man.
Just like, can I see? Where am I? I'm on the bottom. I think I'm the bottom one. You have some of the most really vibrant, fun fantasy environments in this game. A lot of different maps. Can you talk about some of the inspirations you guys drew from when you were designing those maps visually?
Inspiration. I mean, man, it's so much inspiration from previous games. I could just name some of our inspirations. Torchlight was we're big fans of Torchlight. World of Warcraft, obviously big fans of that. You know, it's literally like a dozen games that we, you know, grew up falling in love with that we poured into this game. We love the style we're going down. Definitely Unreal Engine is helping a whole lot, making the game look amazing. The VFX look outrageously amazing, and a lot of that's to Epic's Unreal Engine. So,
you guys, Dungeon Defenders 2, you guys had a lot of additional DLC heroes eventually put into the game, and a lot of those are fan favorites. You went with the 4 core ones, which is the obvious choice for Awaken. Yeah. Will you be adding new heroes to the roster eventually? Is that
absolutely, absolutely? We're going to continue supporting this game for years. So we're going to be adding new heroes, new content, new challenges, new maps. We are going to support this game for the long haul, for years from now. Very much like how we did Dungeon Defenders 1. So one interesting thing, Dungeon Defenders 1, when we launched 10 years ago, is a very different game than Dungeon Defenders 1 is today. Because over the years, we were always adding new stuff. The community was always adding new stuff. We have a fantastic community mod team making stuff for Dungeon Defenders 1, even to this day. And we're going to continue that with Dungeon Defenders Awaken. In fact, we're committed of creating mod tools for Dungeon Defenders Awaken. So we can grow this awesome community to have fun with our game and our universe.
Can you talk about, for you personally and your team, what was the biggest challenge in recreating Dungeon Defenders Awaken on Unreal Engine 4 from a creative standpoint, technical standpoint, or whatever?
I mean, the biggest hurdle. Okay, early on, I would say this: the biggest hurdle is actually a cultural one. Is getting people to believe in themselves again. Because over the last, 4-5 years, they've just been having losses. And, you would release something, it wouldn't make enough money, the VCs would have to put more money and get mad, and all this negative energy. And the first thing I had to do coming to the company was getting people to believe in themselves again. And so the first thing I wanted to do was, let's create wins. Let's create some wins for this company. Kickstarter was a huge win. We initially were trying to raise $250,000. We ended up raising over $500,000. Getting on Nintendo and getting into the Nindies program was another huge win for us. We launched our beta Q4 last year. That was a huge win. We launched our EA Q1 this year. And I would definitely say this, 2020 is going to be our best year ever as a company. And we're going to try our best to communicate that with our fans on how to make this game. And we're going to try to keep on winning to keep people happy.
What excites you about the next gen hardware that's coming out later this year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's power, obviously. With more power, I can put more enemies on the screen. With more power, I can have more explosions. And with more power, I can possibly do four-player split screen.
More particle effects. More particle effects.
More cowbell. More cowbell. Yes.
And speaking of that, like, you even have like a tower. You have the cannon tower went through a redesign. Now it has like actual physics in the tower, and the animal bounces around.
The balls actually have physics because the CPU can handle it now. No, I'm excited about the next consoles. I'm gonna get both of them.
So what's on the agenda next for Dungeon Defenders Awaken? What are you guys working on right now that you can talk about?
Well, working on content. Absolutely working on content. I think for us, the most important things to work on in these times of COVID, work from home, is improving our communication channels. That's really important. And we make mistakes, and oftentimes it's because we don't communicate well to our fans and we don't listen to them. That's one thing I want to work on, and we're going to make all the content in the future based upon feedback. But working from home is extremely difficult. It's hard enough trying to get a meeting with your creative director, and you have to schedule it 24 hours in advance. I can't walk to a desk anymore. So I think the most important thing for us is, how do we create a community and a franchise that's very transparent, community focused, and do that from working in your closet.
Right.
So yeah, difficult question.
Lots of stuff happening. Lots of stuff in the pipeline. One of the things I do want to commend you for is, especially for Dungeon Defenders 2, was your UI for controller support on the console. I thought was absolutely just amazing, because 15 years ago, people would say, you can't do a tower defense game with a controller, you can't do an RTS game with the controller. And I think I'm playing your game and I'm playing another game right now that just completely destroys that. Like, you totally can. You just got to be creative and intuitive with how everything works.
Thanks. That's the big compliment. It's UIUX is one of those unsung heroes of game development. I could definitely say easily UIUX takes a third of the time, a third of your resources, programmers and artists. It usually gets redone 2 or 3 times within the dev cycle. And then even after that, it's very subjective. Everyone has their opinion about UI/UX, and you'll see a lot of angry people online, one way or another. So everyone that works on UI/UX, you guys and gals are so important, and very few people can do it. So wow, it's Yeah, that's a big compliment. Thanks. That's a huge compliment. Hearing that of such a difficult problem, which is UIUX.
Well, your game is out on Steam now for $29.99 on PC, and then
Yep.
your next in line is Nintendo Switch, and then consoles coming sometime in Q3 as of right now, correct?
Hopefully.
Hopefully, maybe. No solid date
yeah.
yet. I just know what I've been reading.
We're working as fast as we can. It will come up. We're not going to stop. You know, definitely working from home and slowing things a lot down. But those things are coming. Those things are coming somewhere in the future. So stick with us.
And so where can people go to find more information about Dungeon Defenders Awakened?
DungeonDefenders.com. That easy.